In this topic, we discuss what is global order promising. Here are some considerations of how configured order functionality is utilized within global order promising. It promises assemble to order (ATO), pick to order (PTO), and hybrids (ATO within a PTO). It also considers model, option class, and option lead times when determining lead time for the configured item. It considers resource capacity and availability for manufactured configure items when promising. It considers existing availability of matching configure items before promising an order. It considers option-specific and option class-specific sourcing exclusions. It generates supply recommendations for configured items marked back-to-back, and supports dropship promising of configured items. This diagram depicts that promising for CTO requires extensive setups within other Oracle Cloud modules such as purchasing, inventory management, and product model. You must perform additional setups within the supply chain planning to create sourcing rules, assignment sets, and available to promise rules. You must also perform several setups outside of global order promising and supply chain planning. You must collect these setups into the supply chain planning using the Manage Data Collections task within supply chain planning. You must also perform additional setups within global order promising to enable order promising. As a note, this slide shows the make flow only, and you focus only on incremental setups required to enable the promising of configured items within this training. This affects customers who want to promise based on actual lead time, and they have option-dependent operations that are chosen based on an option assignment below the option class. Customers can continue to promise based on item attribute fixed plus variable lead times, even at the option level through ATP rule settings within GOP. Note that the lead time itself is not an acceptable ATP rule setting. This screenshot shows the Edit Item page for a model. The catalog information is listed. You must ensure that one of the catalogs is assigned to the Global Order Promising Profile catalog for sourcing assignments. In addition, it highlights that you must ensure that models are assigned to an ATP rule using the Furniture Items category, as an example. Configure items are items that are created through the configuration process and are associated with a base model. When the configured items are created by product model, post-processing provides association of categories that the model items belong to. You must ensure that the model and thus configured items are associated with a category within the same catalog that Global Order Promising uses through the Catalog for Sourcing Assignment profile. In this catalog, you must associate the model item with the category and use the same category to assign the ATP rule to models and thus to configured items. This setup ensures that when product model creates configured items, Global Order Promising recognizes them after they are collected without requiring them to be assigned explicitly on an ATP rule. You must set up ATP rules and assign them to models, option classes, and options. You must also assign ATP rules for models at the category level, which enables configured items to be recognized by the same ATP rule assignment. For manufactured ATO models, if you want Global Order Promising to consider components and resources when promising an order, then enable the ATP rule criterion called Search Components and Resources. It is found in the Promising Attributes region of the Edit ATP Rule page. This screenshot shows the Edit Sourcing Rule page as well as the Manage Exclude for Option and Option Classes window. It lets you specify sourcing to allow transfer of the model from a particular organization in all cases, except when the model has the memory board's option class selected. You can use this to specify exclusions either at the option class or at the option level. After you create all the required setups outside of supply chain planning, you must create sourcing rules and assignments for all items that are associated with the model itself, option classes, and options. Assign the sourcing rule to model items as you normally would using the Manage Sourcing Assignment task. The incremental functionality when defining sourcing for CTO is the ability to define exclusions for options and option classes. Let's now continue into our next topic, which will discuss how lead time is calculated in Global Order Promising. Model equals max, which is 5 plus 3, 2 plus 3, equaling 8. In this topic, we discuss how is lead time calculated in global order promising. It depicts a hierarchical breakdown of a model and the lead time in days for the model in options. In the example that is shown, if you select option 1 in a configuration, then lead time is max, as defined by option 1 plus option class A plus model, and option 3 plus option class B max, which is 5 plus 3, 2 plus 3, equaling 8 days. Similarly, if you select option 2 and option 4, then the lead item that is associated. In this topic, we discuss how is lead time calculated in global order promising. This diagram depicts a hierarchical breakdown of a model and the lead time in days for the model in options. In the example that is shown, if you select option 1 and option 3 in a configuration, then lead time is max, as defined by option 1 plus option class A plus model, option 3 plus option class B plus model equals max, which is 5 plus 3, 2 plus 3, equaling 8 days. Similarly, if you select option 4, then the lead item that is associated with the configuration equals to 9 days. Depending on which option classes and options you select for a model, global order promising dynamically determines the lead time that is associated with. To determine lead time, global order promising traverses various paths within the item structure and determines the longest path to determine the lead time associated with the model. Global order fixed and variable lead times that were modeled for items across the model structure. The lead time that is associated with the model influences order promising behavior. For example, if you request an order for a model today and there are no existing supplies, then global order promising ensures that the order is promised only on or after the model lead time. The model, which has a lead time of 3 days, has option class A and option class B. Each of these option classes has 2 options. Option class A, which has option 1, lead time, and option 2, lead time of 4 days. And option class B, which has option 3, lead time of 2 days, and option 4 days. Shows model sourcing rules exclusions. Organization D1 with a hierarchical representation of a model, option class A with and option class B with options 3 and 4. All elements of the hierarchy are noted in red except option 1, which is selected. Organization D2 with a hierarchical representation of a model, option class A with options 1 and 2, and option class B with options 3 and 4. All elements of the hierarchy are red except option 2. Promising respects sourcing exclusions when promising an order. As in this example, global order promising considers sourcing exclusion rules to determine whether to ship from organization D1 or D2 when option 1 or option 2 is selected for a model. From here, we'll segue into our next topic, which discusses checking availability of an ATO model. In this topic, we discuss how you check availability of ATO models in global order promising. That depicts the check availability page. Orders for ATO models are created within order. When you check Order Management Cloud, you see details of the scene in the screenshot of the check availability page. The multi-level lines for the model appear. Global order promising also shows you the lines for the mandatory associated with the model, which are not visible in order management. As in any other order, you can change input attributes of the orders on the check availability page to simulate order promising. However, you can edit attributes only at the model level. If similar configurations, then the names of these configurations are passed to Global Order Promising by Order Management Cloud and are seen in the configuration item field. Global Order Promising tries to consume supply for these configuration items before trying to promise using CTP functionality. The navigation to get to this page would be as follows. From the navigator, you would select Order, and then on the overview page, you would navigate to the fulfillment line and then click on Check Availability. Our next build on topic will be, why do I have to refresh data in Global Order Promising? Let's continue. In this quick demonstration, we'll see how a model's available to promise rules have been set up. As part of the demo, you'll see the ATP rule setups for a model, and you'll also understand the key features in the setup which are relevant for promising configure to order items. To navigate, under the Order Management Application area, I'm going to Global Order Promising. Then, from the Overview page, I'll click on the Task panel, and I'll choose the option for Manage ATP Rule. From the Search page, I'll search for a specific rule which is linked to the Configure to Order item. So under the naming convention, I'm just entering the rule's name. And under the item, I'll reference our part number and hit Search. I'll click on the Edit icon to access the rule. And in the rule, we have two major tabs, the ATP Rule Criteria and the ATP Rule Assignment. Let's look at the rule assignment. From this listing, we can see that the rule is linked to all the components of the item as part of the configuration. Next, I'll click on the ATP Rule Criteria tab. And here you'll notice under the Promising Attributes section, there are three different promising modes. Availability, which is set here, also lead time based and infinite availability based. You'll notice how the options that we have available change depending on what promising mode. The most complex and most options are available under the supply search. So here you'll notice that you can select multiple options, such as do we need to search across components and resources? Do we want to enable maybe specific flows, such as the profitable promise search within order management? Do we need to respect allocation constraints? You can also use associated lead time calendars and parameters. And then under the supply chain availability search, this is where you have the most options. So for example, under supply types, what all would we want to consider? Would that include on-hand, incoming purchase orders, requisitions, internal recs, and so on? For demand types, would we also consider fulfillment lines, demands? You'll also have the ability to link availability time parameter definitions, including user-defined lead times, total lead time, cumulative lead times. You'll see the other parameters. If we go to lead time based, then you'll notice those chain availability search options go away because they are not affiliated with this type of a promising mode. So here we only have the ability to put in a couple of attributes, a reference to a lead time calendar and parameters. Availability base, which is usually used for insignificant low. You would use this where maybe you want to specifically we have an infinite availability based on a specific time. So in other words, if we enter an order for an item, using this method, that we should be able to supply that part amount of days, the lead time that's been considered. That to have a lengthy setup for different parameters, search, different calendars, and so on. To our supply chain availability, so that we'll leave it as is in the system, and I won't make any changes. So I'll just hit cancel to return back to the main page. So here we've quickly reviewed an ATP rule for a model, and that completes the demonstration. This brief topic describes why do I have to refresh data in Global Order Promising. You must refresh data within Global Order Promising periodically in In-Memory Engine. New configured items that are created within OR are not automatically refreshed within Global Order Promising. Therefore, at an established frequency, you must collect items in Global Order Promising using the Manage Data Collections task, which is in Oracle Supply Chain Planning Cloud. Data that is supply chain planning is refreshed in Global Order only when Global Order Promising